Welcome back to Rise and Shine on this Monday morning. It is the 12th day of the month. And all right, what do we have now? Hi, Sam.
Good morning.
Who'd you bring?
He brought me, actually. We brought Andre Perry with me this morning.
All right, we are going to speak, I guess we're speaking to United Way, and we're about to crank that up again. So now, as we discussed a week or so ago, you have put on yet again a different hat.
Yep.
And involved in United Way, and you warned me that you were going to be taking a slightly different approach and you're going to get more people involved. And I guess as a recipient of the United Way dollar, Sam, what is your organization?
Our organization is Helping Hands of Franklin County. We give emergency financial assistance to people of Franklin County who need it.
Have been doing this for how many years?
About 19.
19.
Since 1994.
Wow. And a very well-controlled function of maybe almost the last step when somebody is really in serious trouble and needs some maybe needs an electric bill paid, maybe needs a rent payment paid, whatever. And it's very, very well done and handled properly so that people can't take advantage of it. But where there is a real serious need, Helping Hands is there. And you are the recipient of some United Way dollars.
Yes, we are and we're grateful recipients, actually. One of the great thrills we have at Helping Hands is wondering if any checks are coming in today. And but we know about United Way. We know that every quarter we're going to get this check, and it's pretty significant. We're going to get this, and so this is going to carry us for a little while. And so we know it's coming. And that's probably the biggest amount that we know is coming. There are a few other sources that are pretty much predictable, but much of it's unpredictable. So we're glad to know we can look ahead and know this is coming at a certain point, right at the end of every quarter.
So that leads us to the point of saying the value of, the reason for, the strength of, and why the United Way exists in our community. And I mean, I can throw that one to you, Andre, because you are now very much involved in the United Way. Would you kind of bring us up to date?
Well, I'm very involved because I've just been hired to be the campaign director. And I feel like one of the first things I really need to do is share these folks who provide the services to the people of Franklin County. And Helping Hands is one of many, about 15 different services that we directly sponsor. So I feel like the first thing I need to do is help people understand what they are contributing to. And this is a very, very popular, worthy organization here. And anything we can do to have Sam explain to people how important this is to the people in Franklin County, the number of people that they're serving. It's thousands and thousands of people that, if you take all of our agencies, I've heard it's way up in the thousands of people that are being served. So any organization that's doing that in Franklin County needs some help. United Way is just the funnel so that every quarter, at least every quarter, as Sam has said, they will get some funding, needed funding, so they can help people.
Not-for-profit organizations out to support the community where there is a need, and not only a need, a very serious need, and yet it requires funding, because it's kind of, we like to help, and it's nice to be able to do this and do that, but the bottom line is some of the organizations, people may not have a good handle on what they're doing. They know it exists, and they know that people have need, and maybe some money gets sent. but to actually come up with the importance of, I think this is a good opportunity, and I think this is great. I think we need to do this a few more times so that people understand. Everybody is, I guess, is it the way you put it, everybody's hitting on hard times now.
Yeah.
Dollars are tight. I don't know, many different ways to say it, but we have the United Way that's just saying, okay, we agree, and we're going to do everything we can to create more ways and to develop funding, because organizations have a hard time creating the dollars.
That's right.
And yet to do what you have to do.
One of the things I keep saying is that in 2012, for example, we did somewhere over $110,000 of assistance. Now, to do $110,000 of assistance, you have to actually have $110,000 to provide.
Good thought.
See, that's the tricky part. And so that's why United Way is so important, as well as a lot of other sources. But this is one of the major sources. In fact, probably, not probably, I'm sure, United Way provides us with a greater assistance than any other agency or single person or church or anything else. So, you know, it's really a major. So, in fact, I understand the theory behind United Way is they're doing this so that agencies won't have to spend all their time fundraising. And at its best, way out there somewhere might be that wouldn't have to do any. But that's pie in the sky probably. But United Way has over the years continued to increase its work and increase its funding for various agencies. And we're proud to be a part of it. I'm happy to speak on behalf of United Way anytime.
It's interesting because dollars are more scarce, harder to come by. You know, and I'm not saying anything that, hey, folks, you know what I'm talking about. You know, this is not a big surprise. It's a fact, and yet we need to, each of us, or each organization, each company, each person, each family, squeeze a little bit harder, and because there are, however much you are hurting financially, there's people and organizations out there hurting more that are doing something good that potentially are going to lose the ability to do it if we don't continue to provide.
One of the things that we began to notice just 3 or 4 years ago, and it's still that way, the number of new people we still see, the number of people who've never been here before, and you know, our name is out there, at least to a lot of people and to those who need things. And the other thing is how often we'll see somebody now, we'll look back into the computer records and find, well, they were here in 2002 or 1997 and have to come back now. And that's too bad. We don't say we're glad to see you, but we do say we're glad to help you. And we're one of the few businesses, I guess, that we don't say, you come back now, you hear? Because we don't want them to have to come back.
Understandable. So the United Way becomes necessary.
Becomes necessary. And I was just thinking about it as Sam was talking about, they're being housed in another strongly supported agency of United Way. Teamwork. There's some teamwork going on here among our agencies. And I think that's important. And I'd like to ask Sam a question too. Why do you do this, Sam? Why are you the person who's really stuck with this helping hands for all these 19 years?
Occasionally I ask that myself. But the way it started, Tom Boyle was the man who started Helping Hands, and he did a great job with it and got it right from the bottom and moved on out. And in 2001, he was looking to do some bigger things, which he has done meanwhile, and he contacted me. We knew each other when I was working with STEP, and he asked me to help him find somebody to replace him.
Mm.
And we looked around and we talked and we decided on me. And I do it because it's something that needs to be done. I wouldn't say it's something I enjoy. That's not a good word. You don't enjoy people's hardships, but it's fulfilling because I know that people can leave there knowing what they're getting. They don't have to wait 3 weeks to find out. They know what they're going to get. They can come in and we can sit down and talk and find out some things, and we've done what we're going to do. And so I guess that's really why I do this. It's something of an obsession now.
Well, you provide a helping hand, and you are perfect for this. You are a very strong community person. And I think you and I over the years have ended up working together on a lot of things.
Sure.
And it's a situation where everybody knows Sam. And if they don't know Sam, they know his son, who's a pretty good school teacher. And
Very good school teacher.
I would say that. And a musician, and, so it's a family. And can't forget Mom.
That's right.
And it's great people. And Sam, first time I met Sam, we years ago, we worked on things together. We even went under the umbrella of Walmart and worked on scholarships that Walmart was providing for the appropriate people. And it was kind of an interesting thing to do because you're dealing with a mega company that, and I had, as a banker, I had handled Walmart stores, and all that is eye-opening because Walmart provides a lot of dollars, and but if you compare what they do with what STEP does, it's equally as important. But what a difference! And I'm glad you're there, Sam. You've been a very good person, and you've worked very hard on behalf of your fellow man, and I congratulate you and I thank you for that. And of course, a lot of people, I don't know how he was as a teacher or a principal, but if you're mad at him, I'm sorry. He's mellowed. Andre, of course, it's kind of a neat thing to have you involved in this because you are the eternal good guy, and that's, I'm just happy that they've asked you to do it and you've agreed to, because it's going to give it some good sound footing.
Well, thank you for that. I'm still thinking this is a tremendous blessing for me to continue to do something in Franklin County that's will be beneficial. And we have to, I always like to do this. We're the we acknowledge each other's accomplishments, because just like Sam has dedicated himself to this cause of helping hands, you've dedicated yourself. And I was thinking about getting up this morning myself. You do this 3 times a week. You come out here and share your wonderful personality with people.
Big bucks. It's
And
the big bucks.
big mega bucks. Mega bucks for Sam too. To come out here and share yourself and,
Thank you.
and give us organizations like myself, like United Way now. I'm embracing this. And Helping Hands and all the other organizations I'm going to bring in here, because I really, want to acknowledge how you help us get the word out so that people can really, really understand what's going on in Franklin County, and not only with United Way, but with all the things that happen.
Well, I can only say thank you. I appreciate that, and on behalf of Cable 12, we appreciate the kind thoughts and the kind words. But we are the Neighborhood Network, and we take that very seriously.
Yeah.
And Mr. Oakes and all the rest of the people over the years that have made this, and I mean, it's the giant staff we have here, and all the money that they reel in. Oh my goodness! It is again the same kind of thing. Thank you for those kind words, and it's
just not
it's a
said
labor
enough.
of love.
Yeah, it's just not said enough how
Yeah.
much this community appreciates what the station does.
And speaking of kind words, I'd like to add a couple more for people who aren't here. Our volunteers, we're staffed by all volunteers.
Right?
And they're wonderful people, and give of their time. They work with the clients in a very respectful way, and they know what they're doing. They're just wonderful folks to be associated with, and that's one of the things that makes it almost fun to do, is the fact that they are such willing people. And the other thing I was going to add is there are so many agencies, national, local, and so forth. And if one of the ways you can kind of judge is to ask how much of the money that comes into any agency goes back to actual services. And so I can say with Helping Hands, I can't speak for anybody else, somewhere usually each year around 91% of all the money we bring in goes to client services. And I think that's an important thing to know.
Very important.
Very.
That's something on the mind of everybody that is a contributor. So thank you for those words. And thank you for what you do. And thank you for providing that mechanism. And I know it's a labor of love, and it's good. Andre, appreciate what you do. And I'm really pleased that you have been allowed to get involved in this, and that you've agreed to be involved in it, because you do well with whatever you start. And this is another good. Of course, this is going to be an interesting one. I mean, Boy Scouts beg too.
Yep.
You know, every organization, we end up doing that, or we end up not. We end up begging on behalf of somebody else, you know.
Yeah.
So and there's nothing wrong with that, folks. It's okay. It's okay. And this country, this world that we know, was built on the fact that we also recognize that good times are wonderful, but we all experience at some point less than good times. And it's very great when people can gather together and work together to help those folks out, because what happens is they don't forget it. And when their good times are back, they seek the opportunity to help somebody else's bad times. Now that's probably sounds like an insane comment, good time, bad time, but you know what I'm saying. And it just breaks down to a very neat thing. And your organization, Helping Hands, is a perfectly good example. And you, for years, have been in scouting. There's another good example. And
And we're actually going to see if we can find a willing, this has to be voluntary, willing client of theirs who would share how much Helping Hands has been beneficial to them, and
be good.
Get into the real subject of why this is important.
Be a good thing. Be a good thing. People would like to know and understand and have a good handle on it, because I don't think anybody is opposed to helping. But I don't think sometimes it's understood until you need help.
Until you've been there.
And then you understand. All right, sir, anything else? Who, we said. What, we know. Why, we know. How. There's a good one. I'll give you the last word on that. How.
The how
What is it that you want people to do in our community in order to facilitate and provide, such as for Helping Hands?
Support for Helping Hands.
Yes.
The how it comes in, number one, we're delivering campaign kits right now to the organizations that have helped us in the past. So these are companies. I'm finishing up the school system this morning, as a matter of fact. I'm leaving here and I'm headed out to the last few schools that I have left. But all these organizations that have helped us in the past run campaigns internally in their companies and their schools and so on and so forth. So there is an opportunity for people to do a payroll deduction or a direct donation to the Franklin County United Way. So that method is in process right now. We're moving towards September 12th, which will send you some information on that. Barb is working on the flyer and the information for that to give to you so you have it. But September 12th, we'll have our kickoff at the farmers market from about 5 to 8 or something in the evening. So that's what we're leading up to. And I just talked to Tosh this morning, and with the blessing of Cable 12, who has helped us tremendously in the past in putting together a nice little DVD. And I'm sure what we've talked about this morning will be on the new DVD that we're putting together right now. So right now the campaign is just getting rolling, and people have their chance through their organizations to participate in the campaign. We just want people to participate. I just want people to understand why they're participating. And when they look at an organization like this, Helping Hands, that they know something is good, something real good is happening with the money that they donate.
It's a good point. Thank you. I think that that's, of course, you know, you're flying in a time when dollars are tight, and but there's always a way to just take a piece of it and help. And I guess some of what you say is, I really I think it rings very true, because sometimes to know how it has helped somebody,
Yes.
or just exactly what does that mean, you know, or who does it help. And you don't get into personalities, you don't get into individuals and situations like that, but someone may want to step forward with a story. This is the beginning of my life again, based on the fact that somebody helped me. And there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody, I don't care who you are, everybody needs help sometime.
You know, I have the same feeling about school teachers as well. You know, all of us had a school teacher at some point in time.
Yeah.
A teacher, somebody that helped us learn a subject or gain information that was beneficial to making us what we are today. So this is what the type of thing I want to do. I want people like Helping Hands, for people to revisit who Helping Hands is, and I hope that they've gotten a good bit of information. If you didn't get enough information this morning about Helping Hands, please go to our website or contact Sam. Talk to Sam. Sam is a great guy to talk to about what Helping Hands does. So.
And we have a website as well.
And they have a
yeah.
website. Okay.
HelpingHandsFC.com.
I thought maybe I was going to catch you on that one. I had to think about that.
Well, at my
probably
age, you
didn't
sort
get
of
to talk
think pretty
about it,
hard.
but-
Yeah.
Yeah, I stop and say, and what am I saying now? You know, like, it's the truth, Sam. I'm with you on that.
Just do a Google search for
Oh.
Helping Hands Franklin County, and
Yeah.
Yeah, I can. I never cease to be amazed at something this big, that every one of my grandchildren, I don't care if they're this big or they're adults with families, they live and
I know it.
breathe on something that they are looking at and pressing. And they think I'm kind of from Mars or something. You know? How do you get along without it, Grandpa? And I said, well, exceedingly well.
Because I don't have one.
And well, that's all right, Grandpa. Anytime you want to know, you call me and I'll get you the information. So
I know of one child who kept losing his cell phone. He says, you know, what we need is a phone that just hangs on the wall and you can go to it. And
yeah, isn't that amazing?
yeah, yeah.
There we are. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Anybody, anything else? Or?
I'll be back.
Oh, God.
I'd just like to add one other thing. You're talking about generous people and so forth a while ago, and we have some. I'm not going to name names, but I will tell you that there are 2 or 3 very generous people, and as you know, when I come on here, most of the time the people out there probably, uh-oh, they're in trouble again and need some money. But there are 2 or 3 people that I go to when we're in desperate need, and we are usually once or twice a year, that come through so far every time I've ever approached them, and I try not to do it too often, with sizable contributions, one of whom always says, "And thank you for asking me." How about that?
That's neat.
That's generous.
That's right. That is generous, and that's probably heartfelt, too.
Sure. Oh, it is.
Exactly. Yeah,
You
they
bet.
really mean it.
You get a good feeling when you help somebody.
Amen.
I mean, really, there's 2 things I'm finding out that are tremendously important in life. One is love of self, love of others, and helping other people. If you are doing those 3 things, you're probably living a pretty fulfilled life. And I know you are, and I know you are, because what you're doing right here is, this is giving for you.
And we know you are.
And I am too.
So
Yes,
it's,
sir.
It's a good thing. Ladies and gentlemen, amazing. But pay attention. Don't miss anything. It's good. I say, it's been good to be with you, and if all goes well, I will see you next time, and God bless.
And I say, hey, by the way, are you going?